Houston, we have a problem.
But I'm sure glad to be in Texas tonight.
Turn Texas blue and say goodbye to Donald Trump. A shooter drove 10 hours inspired by this president to kill people who look like me and people who look like my family. White supremacy is a growing threat to this country, and we have to root it out.
In El Paso, they said, well, do you think Trump is responsible for what happened? And I said, well, look, I mean, obviously he didn't pull the trigger, but he's certainly been tweeting out the ammunition.
I am proud. I am proud that year after year I had an F rating from the NRA. And as president, I will not be intimidated by the NRA.
If you couldn't get it done after Sandy Hook, why should voters give you another chance?
Because it got done before. I'm the only one up here who's ever beat the NRA. Only one ever beat the NRA nationally. I'm the guy that brought the Brady bill into focus and became law.
Everyone up here favors an assault weapon ban. Everyone up here favors magazine limitations, which, by the way, would have made a huge difference if that was in place in El Paso, in that store where all those ordinary people showed such extraordinary courage.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
Since we're here at an HBCU, I'd like to start with young black voters. Several recent polls indicate their #1 concern is racism.
That we have a white supremacist in the White House, and he poses a mortal threat to people of color all across this country.
If I am president of the United States, we will create an office in the White House to deal with the problem of white supremacy and hate crimes.
I'm also proud that I was the first to put forward a police reform plan, because we're not going to have any more Laquan McDonald's or Eric Garners or Michael Browns or Pamela Turners or Walter Scott's or Sandra Bland here from the Houston area.
I will make sure that we don't just do the First Step Act when it comes to criminal sentencing, that we move to the Second Step Act. Let's reduce those sentences for nonviolent offenders, and let's get them jobs and let them vote when they get out of prison.
Nobody who got in prison for marijuana, for example, immediately upon being released, they shouldn't be in there for that should be a misdemeanor. They should be out and their record should be expunged.
Do you think that people who support President Trump and his immigration policies are racist?
Anyone who supports this is supporting racism. Este es racismo y es sencillo. The only people, though, who actually buy into this president's hateful rhetoric around immigrants are people who don't know any.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Immigration does not make us weaker. Immigration makes us stronger. A system right now that cannot tell the difference in the threat posed by a terrorist, a criminal, and a 12-year-old girl is not a system that is keeping us safer, and it is not serving our values.